Hello, Jay here. It's going to be a tutorial for my arrangement for Cruella DeVille from 101 Dalmatians, the great Disney film. Okay, super fun tune. I recommend check out the movie. It's a classic, and there's been some cool renditions of this tune. I recommend check out the Dr. John version. Really nice. And this is definitely a tune we can get all bluesy with and work some cool flatted notes and intervals as we improvise and play this melody too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play the arrangement, and then we'll talk about all the different parts in the tutorial to follow. Enjoy. Okay, with all my arrangements, I have a 6-step process I recommend. First thing is to listen to the original recording and then get your chords going and then try to learn this arrangement. And then you're going to want to expand upon the bass lines. All my bass lines are going to have some simple quarter notes, and it's not that that's easy to play, but the bass lines are written on every beat according to our time meter, which is in 4/4. And from there, you can expand your bass line, you can add notes, you can make longer notes, you can approach your chords with your bass, and I'll try to demonstrate a little bit of that as we get into the jam. Okay, another step is to add notes to your melodies, and you could add a note or two underneath it. You could add full chords to thicken it out a little bit. So sometimes my arrangement's just gonna have a bass note and a melody note, just 2 notes, but you can fill those in all you want to. Okay, and then also I recommend to vary your rhythms. Start off with kind of close to the original, and then you could start to put your own feel into there. You could add rhythms, take away rhythms. So it's all there for you to make it your own. Okay, the key for this tune is going to be an A, and it's kind of an A7 sound. So we're going to definitely be doing G natural vibe for our A chords, but it's all pretty much in the key of A. Tempo for this one's going to be quarter note at 118. This song's going to have a swung feel, so it's pretty much like a jazz concept. Make all your 8th notes swung, and if you don't know how to swing your 8th notes, just think of it like straight is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and our swung 8th notes are going to sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and everything relates to the 8th note triplet. Okay, for this arrangement and all my tunes, I play fingerstyle, so I'm going to recommend check into it. It's pretty fun, and I use what we call the thumb and claw technique. So my thumb is sort of in charge of the 3 low strings, doing mostly the bass stuff, and then my index, middle, and ring work as a claw, and those can target the 3 high strings or the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, and they could do chords hitting at the same time, or they could be separate to play melodies too. But that's the concept. Now, you don't have to do thumb and claw. You could play with a pick. You could do just thumb and 1 finger or thumb and 2 fingers. Whatever you like the best, but check out some different techniques, and there's definitely some great guitars that just do very minimal fingers too, and so anything can work depending on how you want to play it. I also have some links below to a couple different renditions of this arrangement. I've got a live one and a torso jam, so check these out. You could sort of see me expand on these concepts with some of those different ways to supersize your arrangement. You'll see me take some liberties with bass notes and rhythms and all the fun stuff in there too. Talk about the chords. So for the main chord, I'm going to recommend an A7, and I'm going to be working a lot off of a bar chord along with some open positions, so I'll go ahead and give you some different A7s. So just think like a major bar chord without your pinky. I've got my index finger on the 5th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 7th fret 5th string, barring to get the 5th fret on the 4th string with my index, middle finger's got the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then barring to get the 5th fret on the first 2 strings. Okay, now for an open position A7, you can have your open 5th string. I got my middle finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, open 3rd string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. You can also have your low E string in there, or just avoid it, or have your thumb over the top to mute it. You can also do that chord with your index and your middle if you like to. Okay, now sometimes I'm going to just be using my open A string, so this is kind of nice. This will free me up to do different A7 chords all over the neck. So I recommend check out your open strings, and that way you won't be anchored down as you try to fret that low note. Okay, for your D7, let's do a D7 bar chord. That's going to be index finger on the 5th fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 7th fret 4th string, barring to get your 5th fret on the 3rd string with your index, pinky's got the 7th fret 2nd string, and then barring to get the 5th fret on the 1st string with index, and then you can make some contact and mute your low string. And then your open position D7, open 4th string, middle finger's on the 2nd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then ring is on the 2nd fret 1st string. And you can just have your 6th string avoided, and your 5th string will sound okay there too. As the song starts, this is going to start with the intro, and it's basically a verse. This one's going to have a C7, so I'm way up here on my 9th fret with my C7. It's going to be the same voicing or fingers as our A7 bar chord. So I've got index finger on the 9th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 11th fret 5th string, barring to get the 9th fret on the 4th string, middle fingers on the 10th fret 3rd string, and then barring to get the 9th frets on the first 2 strings, all with index. Okay, for an F sharp minor, I'm just dropping it down to the 2nd fret on the low string. So I've got my index on the 2nd fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 4th fret 5th string, pinkies on the 4th fret 4th string, and then barring to get my 2nd frets on the first 3 strings, all with index. Okay, for a B7 bar chord, same shape we've been doing for our dominant 7 chords. I got my index on the 7th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 9th fret 5th string, barring to get my 7th fret on the 4th string, middle fingers on the 8th fret 3rd string, and then barring to get my 7th frets on the first 2 strings, all with index. Okay, there's going to be kind of some F7 in this one too, so let's just go ahead and do an F7 bar chord off of the A string. Got the index finger on the 8th fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 10th fret 4th string, barring to get my 8th fret on the 3rd string, pinkies on the 10th fret 2nd string, and then barring to get my 8th fret on the 1st string. And then make some contact to mute your low string. For an E7 bar chord, just take that same F7 shape down a half step to your 7th fret. Okay, we'll also have a G7. That's going to be the same dominant 7 chord off of your 5th string, but now we're based off of the 10th fret. And there'll also be an F sharp 7, same shape, just base it off of your 9th fret on the 5th string. For F sharp 7, there's also the C shape looking one, and that's got ring finger on the 9th fret 5th string, middle fingers on the 8th fret 4th string, pinkies on the 9th fret 3rd string, and then index is on the 7th fret 2nd string. and then just avoid your low and high string. I also have a little bit of an E7 sharp 9 in there, or the Hendrix chord. For your Hendrix chord, I'm using my open 6th string, and I'm just doing these higher notes, but it's basically based off of your A string, dominant 7 sharp 9, so that's middle finger on the 7th fret 5th string, index is on the 6th fret 4th string, ring fingers on the 7th fret 3rd string, and then pinky is on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. You could just avoid your high string, and you could have your low string in there, and then sometimes I'll just fret those 3 high notes and then use my open E string for that. I'm also working off of a C major, so for your C major bar chord, that'd be a major bar chord off of the 8th fret on your 6th string. So I've got index on the 8th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 10th fret 5th string, pinkies on the 10th fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 9th fret 3rd string, and then barring to get my 8th frets on the first 2 strings. Okay, now a lot of these bar chords, when I get into the solo, I might be playing them off the 6th string too, so I recommend learn your G7, let's say, off of your 5th string, and then learn it off of your low 6th string too, and that way you'll have some areas to roam around on your guitar. For the form of the song, it's going to start off with the intro, and it's basically a verse. That's going to be 8 bars. Then we're going to go into a double chorus. Each chorus is 8 bars, and then we'll go into a solo section. For the solo section, I have an 8-bar solo section. I'm going to just repeat it twice. You can also stretch that out. You can play it as long as you want. It's really fun. It's pretty bluesy too, so they go pretty quick. After the solo, we'll go into a last verse. It's the same thing we did for the intro, the first verse, and then we'll do another double chorus, and we'll end it on an A chord. I'll point out that the intro has a pickup note of an 8th note. I'm going to play the intro at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the intro at tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if you want to add some notes to your verse, basically you could just incorporate these notes right off of your bar chords. So if I want to just stack a couple notes underneath that melody, I'm just going to incorporate a couple of those notes on my mid-range strings in there, my 3rd and my 4th string. So you can always fill in some gaps. Even adding one note will give it a little thicker sound. And then when I drop it down to my F sharp minor, I can just go ahead and hit those notes of that chord leading to my high notes. And then you'll notice sometimes I sort of rake or arpeggiate up to my high notes. And that's a nice way just to get to your high note and also incorporate some of those lower notes to fill it in. Okay, now for the chorus, I'm going to go ahead and play it at a slow tempo. And I want to point out that a lot of times I just add a hammer on. So written on the page, it would be like this. But a lot of times I'm going to hammer on with my index to my middle from the 5th to the 6th fret to get that C sharp note on my 3rd string. And that'll sound more like this. One more time. Just give it a little bit of bluesy flavor. And then when I go to the D chord, here it is on paper. And then I'm going to be sliding up to my 7th fret on the 2nd string. And sometimes I use my middle finger for that. You could use your ring too, and that'll just lead me to the higher notes. So both those concepts together from A. So on a tune that's so bluesy like this, you can always slide up, you could slur, you could do bends too, but it's really fun to just really get this one getting bluesy. Okay, I'm going to play the chorus at a slow tempo. It's a double chorus and it's the same thing 2 times, so I'm just going to play it 1 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. here's the chorus at tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. I also want to point out on the chorus, if you want to incorporate a full F sharp 7 chord on there, once I get to my G7, sort of a G7 sharp 11, I can also just put in a full F sharp 7 chord if I'd like right there. Okay, for this G chord that comes in the chorus, it's gonna be, I'm just hitting a root and a sharp 11. So I've got my middle finger on the 10th fret on the 5th string, and then I'm using my index to get my 9th fret on the 1st string. When it goes to this F7 chord, that one's also going to have a sharp 11 sort of sound. So some of these chords are going to look a little bit different than our bar chords as I'm reaching some of those melody notes on there. So just heads up. And now this takes us to the solo. For the solo, I recommend you could definitely rock your minor pentatonic, your blues scale. Mixolydian sounds really good too, so let's go ahead and throw some scales out there. Okay, I'm gonna do all these scales in 5th position here. So first of all, minor pentatonic would be starting on your 6th string, 5-8. 5th string is a 5-7, 4th string's 5-7, 3rd string's 5-7, and then 2nd string's 5-8, and then 1st string is 5-8. Okay, also blues scale is really nice. We're just gonna add the flat 5. So start off the same way, 5 to 8 on your 6th string, and then 5, 6, 7 on your 5th string, 5, 7, 4th string, 5, 7, 8, 3rd string, and then 5, 8 on your 2nd string, and 5, 8. Okay, now Mixolydian's a pretty cool scale when you're playing over a dominant 7 chord. I definitely use it. Sometimes I don't think so much about it, but I think it's a good sound. So let's throw that scale out there. Mixolydian's based off of the 5th mode of the major scale, and it's basically a major scale with a flat 7, and that's why it sounds pretty good over a dominant 7 chord. So for this one, we're gonna do an A to a B on your low string, so that's 5 to 7. And then we'll go C sharp, D to E, that's a 4, 5, 7 on your 5th string. And then on your 4th string, again, 4, 5, 7, that's gonna be an F sharp, G natural, and an A. And that'd be your 1 octave Mixolydian scale. As we keep going, we'll go 4, 6, 7, 3rd string, 5, 7, 8, 2nd string, and then you can go 5, 7, 9 on your 1st string. And then what I recommend is learn all these scales and then just use a little bit of all of them. The main thing is just hearing some of those cool flatted notes and incorporating a little bit of all of those, I feel, is a good goal. Okay, now when it goes to the D chord, you could just stay in A with your scales, or you could also target some of the notes of the chords that start to pass on this progression. So let's go ahead and just throw out a D Mixolydian scale. That would be 5 to 7 on your 5th string, 4, 5, 7, 4th string, 4, 5, 7, 3rd string, 4, 7, 8 on your 2nd string, and then 5, 7, 8, 10 on your 1st string. So also, learn your minor pentatonic on D, learn your blues scale on D. You can also do major pentatonic too, sounds nicely too. So let it rip a little bit, have some fun with it, but remember it's all pretty much bluesy in A. Okay, also fun to do a little bit of walking on this solo progression too. It's going from A to D a lot, so there's some fun approach bass lines coming back down. So I recommend also you could explore some walking bass line on that too. It's really cool. Also going to be using a lot of my open strings, and this will free me up to do some different voicings up high. So I could do A7s, A13s, A9s, do some fun 6th licks and double stops. Same thing when it goes to D. We could do D13. D9. It's really kind of liberating to use your open strings. That way you can also get way up to your high notes too. So I recommend check out your open strings, and you can also work off of planted chords too. So different concepts depending on where your improv might lead you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a solo. Here we go. A 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. It's always fun one to play on. Let's go ahead and get into the last verse. Last verse is going to be the same thing we did at the beginning of the tune, so I'll go ahead and play it at tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the last chorus is going to be a double chorus. It's going to be normal that we did for the first one, but the second one's going to incorporate a tag. It's going to loop that last phrase 3 times into an ending. So here's the first chorus of the double chorus at the end of the tune here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this last part, the last of the double choruses, is going to incorporate this tag. And I want to point out again, for that F sharp 7 chord that's going to pop in, you could do a full F sharp 7 chord if you want, or just the bass notes. I'll do a little bit of both here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the last chorus at tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Cruella DeVille. I'll be doing lots of these tutorials. I've already got some up, so please check them out, keep in touch, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.